Hey there. Today, I finally get to take Thanos and the Black Order into battle against Matt's Guardians of the Galaxy. My name is Nate, and welcome to the Gamers Guild. Alright, disclaimer time. This battle report and maybe the next few are going to sound a bit muffled as Matt and I were wearing masks. So if it is a bit hard to hear at times, I apologize, but playing safely is the priority ultimately. With that said, and out of the way, Matt and I have already rolled for priority, and he won it, choosing the secure objective, which ended up being extremist consoles. This was a really smart play on his part because the Black Order has a lot of high-threat models that can't really easily split between these points, while the Guardians are great at going wide with cheaper characters. So on the other hand, I got to choose the extraction, and so I decided to choose Wakandan herbs. Within the Black Order, there is a very easy turn 1 herb score that involves a couple of tactic cards and a bunch of spent power. But I think getting those 4 extra points early will be worth it, especially since I'm guessing Matt won't be able to get those 4 points as quickly. Matt ended up choosing 17 for the threat level of our game, so with that, let's take a look at what he ended up bringing into the game.
My name's Matt. Today I'm bringing the Guardians. I'm bringing Star-Lord, Ronan, Drax the Destroyer, Rocket Raccoon, and Nebula along with Hawkeye. We're playing at 17 points on Wakandan herbs and riots. So my major game plan is to send Rocket with Hawkeye over to get the herbs and try to get Hawkeye to bring it back. And then while Rocket holds back the back objective point for Extremis, Nebula's just going to hunt people like she needs to, and Ronan's going to toss out Judgment and Shock where he needs to. My tactics cards are no matter the cost, drop off, brace for impact, field dressing, and Crew of the Milano to help get rid of those conditions that potentially Proxima might bring out.
So while Matt went wide with 6 activations, I ended up with just 4. I have Thanos with the Power Gem, Corvus with the Reality Gem, Proxima, and Rocket Raccoon. The tactic cards I am bringing are Drop Off with Rocket Boots. These 2 are what allows Proxima to help her husband with that turn 1 herb score. From there I took Disarm, Doomed Prophecy, and Medpack. My hope here is to have Rocket lock down my back point while having Thanos and the duo secure the herb and the right console. Looking at the board, we are going to call all of the crystals on the board size 1, the barricades and small power generators size 2, and the larger generators size 3. We also have a hill or platform that will be a size 3 uninteractable terrain feature. Unfortunately, I don't have any good size 4 terrain for this table yet, but if you have an idea, please feel free to share it down below. However, we do have a nice 5 size obelisk in the middle of the board to break up some line of sight lines. With that covered, Matt and I have deployed our team, so we'll have a quick look at where our characters ended up on the table and get into the game. Okay, for deployment, I've got Corvus here on the far left staring down that herb, along with Thanos, Proxima, and Rocket, and then this half of the board's pretty empty for me, which kind of looks like I'm not going to be playing defense, but I'll try. And then we have Hawkeye and Star-Lord as herb runners over here, followed by Rocket, Nebula, Ronan, and then in the far corner is Drax popping out over there. So with that, we will go into turn number 1 of the Black Order versus Guardians of the Galaxy. At the beginning of the turn, as always, we start by giving a little bit of power out to everybody. And then Thanos, big boy, is going to get 3 because of that power gem. And then after we are powered up, what are we doing, sir?
We're just going to move Rocket basically to this front objective. He's got more than enough room to double move there. And then he's just going to camp out range 1.
Can't say that I blame you. My Rocket is going to do very similar things because he is just going to move over within 1. Thankfully, there's a barricade right there, so he is currently the invisible Raccoon, and he is now done.
All right, I'm going to move Star-Lord to right here, range 2 of Hawkeye. Then him and Hawkeye are both going to spend a power to drop off Then Star-Lord is just going to fly up here.
Get you within one of that Extremis console.
And one of there, and then drop off Hawkeye range 1.
Absolutely.
To there.
And Hawkeye now gets a free attack because he does have that ridiculous range 5.
But I don't think he's going to be able to see anybody. Well, I guess he could see Rocket past the wall this way.
Yeah. Yep, you've got Rocket in sight.
So let's shoot that Raccoon.
Absolutely.
And it will be... Oh, it doesn't matter. Rocket
It
has 20
doesn't
to
matter.
Crit.
Uh-oh.
So just 3 coming in at you.
Poor Raccoon. Block 1, and then I will use cover to block another, so Rocket will take a singular point of damage.
And let's give him the bleed condition.
Alright, Rocket will be bleeding. I will be going with Corvus. He's just going to go ahead and move. He'll move again. I'm not going to bother with the movement stick because he's got movement for days. Just wanted to get him within 1 of that herb, and he'll spend 1 of his 2 power to go ahead and pick it up, and that will be the end of his activation.
All right, I'm going to go with Nebula. She's just going to move max range 2 to Corvus there.
Absolutely, kind of left him out in the open.
And she is going to take a strike against him.
Absolutely.
4 dice attack. And a crit.
Oh boy.
Can't do anything with that one.
And you, I guess I'll roll mine first.
I got to re-roll.
Alright, so I got a crit blank and a wild, so things are looking good so far. Resolve my crit. Alright, so I'm blocking 3.
I've got 4 after my 1 re-roll.
Cool, so Corvus will take a singular point of damage.
And he will also get shocked.
He will also get shocked.
From the wild.
And is that it for Nebula?
Yes, that'll be it for Nebula.
Alright. Alright, well I need to get Corvus out of harm's way, so I'm going to go with Thanos. Get him moved up just a little bit. Easily keeps him within range 4 of Corvus. So Thanos is going to spin 2 and just bamf Corvus a little bit out of trouble. And then Thanos doesn't like where Hawkeye's heading, so we are going to go ahead and start heading that direction. Unfortunately, not quite enough movement to actually get on top of the hill, but we'll be there next turn. It's inevitable.
Hawkeye is going to spend his power to pick up the herb. And then he is going to take a shot onto Thanos with 6 dice because of the herb, doing melee.
Unfortunately, you are within range 2 of me, so I do not get cover.
Crit. So I've got 3 coming in at you.
3 damage incoming. Thanos blocks none of it except for his being of immeasurable power, so he will take 2, which is unfortunately exactly how much I did not want to
so Hawkeye
be given.
will get 2 power off of that. And then he will move as a medium. Let's just get him off of the thing. And then I'm going to spend his 2 power to hook shot.
Absolutely. Get him out of dodge.
Place him right back here.
And that, I'm guessing, is Hawkeye done?
And Hawkeye will be done.
Okay. It is time for Proxima to go. She has a real nice long move to easily get her where I need her to be. So she is going to go ahead and move up here. Then her and Corvus are both going to spend 1 power for drop-off. And, well, I guess I do need to play the rocket boots. Eventually, though, that'll get her to right about there. Would you mind holding the movement tool? Thank you much. To get her there. And then get Corvus right over here. Let's do it like that. And that is her done, and we will need to roll for some rocket boots at the end of the round.
All right, Drax is just going to double move up to the Extremis console. To there.
Absolutely, easily within range 1.
And Ronan is going to double move also.
Absolutely.
To there.
Alright, and that is the end of the round. So it is time for Proxima, and we will find out what her fate is from Rocket Boots. Hoping for not a skull or a blank, I believe. And got a wild, which should be a free short move. Double checking. Yep. So we are going to bump her short. And just get her in range to contest with Star-Lord. And that is the end of the round. So on my side of things, Corvus is scoring me 4 points with the Wakandan Herb. We are contesting over here with Proxima and Star-Lord. Corvus couldn't quite get there. And then Rocket is scoring me 1 for a grand total of 5 points for the Black Order. And then Hawkeye and or Rocket, take your pick, are contesting that back one. And Drax over here is holding up the flank. And so Matt is going to start by getting 2 points. Alright, here at the top of turn 2, I'm actually going to go with Corvus Glaive first. And he is going to start by just moving up a little bit here to get within range 3 of Ronan. He's then going to spend all of his 4 power for a death blow, with the Wakandan Herb balancing out the shock status condition. And then Thanos, to give it a little bit of extra oomph, is going to spend 2 power to Death's Decree it, so I have 9 dice physical going into the Accuser. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What a terrible roll.
Yeah, that's not great.
I did get a failure, which gets to count as a critical. So I'll at least get in 1 more. So I've got a total of 4 successes on this. This is not what I needed to have happen.
Ronan's going to block 2, so he will take 2.
He's only taking 2.
Does he want to hand out Judgment? Yeah, let's hand out Judgment to...
Absolutely.
give him a Judgment token.
And then part of Death Blow is after the attack is resolved, this character may advance medium. And because that is not a move action, he can totally do that. So we're just going to put him within range 1 and out of line of sight for everybody but Star-Lord down there after his death blow is resolved. And then I'm going to go with the husband of Proxima Midnight so that Proxima can then get to activate. Alright, Proxima is going to start by throwing a 5 dice strike into Star-Lord. With not much more luck than her husband, unfortunately. So I got 2 whole successes. Blocked all,
doesn't need
like
the
an
plucky.
all-star. We will do that again. With 3 results this time.
1 block, so Star-Lord will take 2 damage.
Alright, Proxima will at least get 2 power. And unfortunately, I think that is the end of her activation as well as Corvus's. And with that, it'll be your turn.
All right, I'm going to go with Star-Lord. He's going to take a full auto shot on the Thanos. So that'll be 7 dice. Energy attack.
Absolutely.
And only 2.
Hey, you know how it feels now.
Yeah.
All right, roll my 3. Unfortunately, didn't get anything. However, I do have cover, so I'll use cover and being of immeasurable power to block the 2 damage. However, you did get a wild.
So you're going to get the shock on Thanos also.
Thanos is also going to be shocked. And what else is Star-Lord doing today?
Star-Lord will just take an element shot at Proxima now.
All right. Not rolling
2.
too much better. Blocks nothing, but she does have the invincibility, so she'll take 1 damage.
Star-Lord will get 1 power back. He will then use that power to interact with the console to heal himself 1.
Absolutely.
And Star-Lord will be done.
All right. All right, my next activation is going to be the Raccoon, and he's going to take a shot down range against Ronan, who is just barely in range, thankfully. We're going to do a plasma rifle, and Thanos is going to spend 2 to Death's Decree it, so we've got 7 energy dice coming in at the Accuser. And we finally have a good roll. We got 3 crits. All right. For a total of 5 successes.
Ronan gets 4 energy defense, and he will block 2 of it and take 3.
Block 3.
All right, block 3 and takes 2.
Yep. So Rocket will get a couple of power.
Do I want to get the Raccoon Judgment? Nah, I'll keep the power.
All right. Rocket from there has enough to go ahead and spend 1, interact with the console, heal himself from the damage that he'll be getting here very shortly as he's going to bleed. But before that, how much health does Ronan have left?
He just took 2. He has 4 left.
Corvus did a little bit on him, right?
Oh, 2. So he has, he has 2 left.
2 left. Rocket's going to go ahead and spend all 4 of his power, and we're going to go for a Hadron Enforcer. So we're going to do another 7 dice into Ronan, and hope that the crits help a little bit more than they did last time. Still a pretty decent roll. So we got 4 right off the bat. Have the critical for another 5 hits.
3 blocks. So Ronan will take 2 and then get dazed.
All right.
But then he will do his Accuser attack.
All right, and read that off so that we can remember what that does.
The Accuser, if an enemy effect would cause this character to be dazed or KO'd, after the effect is resolved, you may use this superpower, which costs 0. This character may immediately advance a small and may make 1 attack targeting the enemy character that caused the effect.
All right, well, thankfully, Rocket is going to be pretty hard to see, but we'll see where Ronan ends up. Can't, no, I guess you can't do that because it's
an advance.
Yep, it is not climbing.
To there.
Which does give you a bead on
range.
Rocket.
Range 4, it is. All right, Ronan's Accuser attack is going to be a universal weapon on the Rocket. For 1.
Well, as long as I don't get 2 failures. Block 1, and Rocket is just happy to have dazed him and not taken retribution. However, at the end of his activation, Rocket will gain a point of damage from bleeding, and that'll be the Raccoon done.
All right, I'm going to go with Hawkeye. He's right at range 5 of Thanos. So he will shoot Thanos with a arrow shot with 6 dice because of the arrow.
Yep, might as well make it physical.
And making it physical. For 2.
We got a wild, so I'll be getting a status condition at the end of it. But I will not be taking any damage. That was a hit. But the wild, or the critical plus Thanos' ability means no damage.
So
what new status condition is he getting?
Let's give him a shock so that power gem is lesser effective.
Stun is not good for me. All right.
And then Hawkeye is going to move.
Absolutely.
Fortunately, he did not get the power to arrow shot or hook shot. to there.
All right. That is Hawkeye done. All right, so as it stands, Thanos not in too much danger. Maybe Rocket can get some lucky shots on him, but I'm not too concerned about that. So I'm going to go ahead and just pass with Thanos. Since you've got 3 activations to my 1, what are you thinking, sir?
I'm going to go with Drax and just double move him to contest the console that Rocket is currently at.
Makes
Your
sense. The bad Rocket.
Yeah, that traitor over there.
Yeah, easily within range to contest, unfortunately.
Put him there.
All right, and that is Drax done. All right, so because you still have 2, and I really just don't want to shake off the stun condition for Nebula to put it back on me, I'm going to pass once again.
All right, so I'm going to go with Rocket now. He's first going to take a plasma rifle shot onto Thanos.
Absolutely. 5 dice energy. That's
crits.
a pretty good roll.
So that is 5 coming in at Thanos.
Uh-oh. Well, I've only got 3 dice. 1 block, 2 blocks with the being of immeasurable power, so I will take 3 damage, but only get 1 power from it.
Rocket will get 3. He's then going to move.
All right. Where's this wily raccoon going? Oh,
Come closer to Thanos.
he's coming into the brawl.
To there.
All right. And that, I'm guessing, is the raccoon done.
Yes, Raccoon's going to be done.
All right, well, the time has come. Thanos has to activate, and we are going to start with a strike onto Rocket, mostly because I want to throw him away, because he's currently within range to field dressing Ronan, which would be really bad for Corvus, especially since I wouldn't have any way to respond at that point. So, because of the shock, Thanos is rolling 5 dice, looking for a wild. We got the wild and 2 additional hits, so a total of 3 incoming damage on the raccoon. Blocks 1, blocks 3 with cover. So I only dealt 3, so no actual damage is done to the raccoon via that. I will, however, throw you away short, which should punch you into that crystal.
Yeah.
So I'll do a singular point of damage to the raccoon, and unfortunately Thanos did not actually get a power, although the job was done for what he wanted to do. So Thanos is going to spend 2 because he's within range 4 of his nemesis Star-Lord. Man does not like his daughter dating this guy. So we're going to bamf him to within range 2 of Thanos, which I think can be just on the other side of Ronan. Right over there. Should have easily had range to, yep. And then we will throw an additional strike into Star-Lord with a 5 dice. Just 2 hits, nothing too fancy.
1 block.
All right.
Star-Lord will take 1.
Thanos will gain a singular power, and that is the end of his activation.
All right, so Nebula's going to go. She's going to move along to here. And then she is going to blaster pistol Thanos, even though she is at range 2, because she wants to guarantee that power gain.
Yep. Makes sense, and Thanos is pretty defensible with his own.
4 dice energy, with 2 coming in at you.
2. Thanos blocks it easily.
But she'll gain 1 power.
Indeed.
And she will be done, and I believe that completes the round.
That does complete the round. We will come back with scoring. At the end of the round, I am going to be able to get 5 points because Proxima is alone on that Extremis console, and Corvus still has the herb down here. Unfortunately, Drax came over here and contested that, so I'm only getting the 5. However, because Hawkeye did not get that extra power to hook arrow, and because you have just abandoned your Extremis consoles, you will be getting none. So I will be going up from 5 to 10 as we go into round 3. All right, at the beginning of round 2, I think I made a mistake by putting Corvus down here. So we're going to have him come back up. Just want him to be within range 2 of Ronan, because I would love to be able to finish him off before Judgment can apply to just about every single one of my characters. So we are going to do a 5-dice strike because he still is affected by shock, but he also has the Wakandan herb to kind of balance that out. So 5 dice going into Ronan. Okay, well, skulls count as a crit, or one of them does. So 2 whole successes.
Ronan blocks 1.
All right.
And I'll take 1.
Deal a whole damage with Corvus. He will gain a power from that, but that is the end of his activation, and so we will then go into Proxima's activation. Okay, after quite a bit of debating in my head, I've decided the Proxima is going to first interact with the Extremist console, go ahead and heal herself a little bit, and then she's going to follow up with a strike into Ronan, and Thanos is going to go ahead and spend 2 power to Death's Decree this, making it a 7-dice physical attack going into the Accuser. And she continues to just do better than her husband. We got a couple of crits. Nothing off of the crits, unfortunately. We did get a wild, so we'll have at least 1 pierce in there, but 4 successes.
All right. Crit. So
Right. I will pierce 1 of those, and Ronan will take 3.
take 3.
And then Proxima will get 3 power. And now I have to debate again what to do with her, because unfortunately that was not enough to finish off the Accuser. Alright, he's only got 2 left. I'm not sure which attack is actually statistically better or whatever to try to bring him down. But I think I'm going to go with another strike because his defenses are a little bit lower, and a pierce should be able to put him away. So we're going with a 5-dice strike into Ronan. And there we go. 5 hits with a pierce.
That's gonna do him. But he'll get 1 final Accuser.
He certainly does still get
So
a little bit of
he's gonna spend the
stuff.
4 for a. Well, first he'll spend 2 to give her Judgment,
Might as well.
and then he will then spend his 4 to Creed Justice on her.
All right, and is that physical or energy?
That's
Not that
energy.
matters.
8 dice.
Okay,
A couple of crits.
going out on a bang. 4 successes.
4 successes.
And what does the wild do on that attack?
Wild gives explosive.
All right.
So characters within 2 of her will suffer 1 damage. Enemy
She
characters.
blocks 1 and then has her invulnerability, so she's essentially blocking 2 out of the 4. So she will take 2.
And she will gain stun and stagger.
She will gain stun and stagger, which is not great. And then
go-
explosive, you said?
Yes, so he will take 1 as well. Corvus will.
Corvus will take a point of damage as well. And then I will gain a victory point because Thanos is a very cruel leader. And that is Corvus and Proxima's activation done.
All right, I want to go with Star-Lord. First, I'm going to pitch Crew of the Milano to give Star-Lord Winging It for some rerolls. Then he's going to do an element gun attack into Thanos.
Absolutely.
So far, 3.
Yep. Do you want to go ahead and burn
I'll
it for
do
that
the-
last one?
Do the reroll for this one. Well, let's keep it in the dice tray. All right, so 3.
3. Thanos got it.
He blocks it. All right, so now since that happened, I'm going to spend, no matter the cost, and deal Star-Lord A damage, and reduce the next attacks by 1, and then he will full auto into.
You sure you don't want to spend more? You want to make that attack free?
No, just give him the 1.
All
So
right.
7 dice, full auto into Thanos.
Woof.
2 crits. That was great.
It was.
So, well, I'll reroll these 2 for a winging it.
Might as well.
All right, so 4, 7.
6. You got a block there.
Oh, yep.
Still a lot. I think Thanos wasted his good roll. He'll block 2 of it, which is still 4, And by block 2, I mean the being of measurable power as well. That is still enough to finish him off and daze Thanos, unfortunately. And that, I'm guessing, is Star-Lord's activation done. Alright, Raccoon is the only character I have left to go, and I feel like it would be silly to not try to go ahead and activate him before Drax just gets to lay into him for a little bit. So we're going to do a plasma rifle, getting 2 whole successes.
Drax has 2 blocks.
Alright, nothing happens there. We'll try it again. A little bit better, 3 successes this time.
1 block, and then Drax can take it, so he reduces that by 1, so he'll take 1.
He'll take 1, Rocket will gain a whole power, and he will spend 1 of those power to remove a damage with the Extremis console, only to immediately get it back at the end of his activation.
Alright, I'm going to go with Nebula. She is going to move up to here to get range 3 of Corvus. And then she is going to pay 3 power to Shock Sword Assault on the Corvus.
Absolutely. He is with he's got cover at least. So we'll,
but you're holding an objective in it, so I can get rid of it.
Yeah, but it's gonna hurt.
Unless I roll 2 skulls.
Well, I guess the reroll part doesn't happen, but
so
that is 4. Got 3 defense dice. Well, I will use cover and his invulnerability to make it so he takes 2 damage.
And then she will get placed within 1 of him.
Unfortunately, I get 0 power from this because of the judgment condition. And that is Nebula done?
Yep.
Alright.
Alright, Hawkeye is just going to go ahead and go and move to score the double move to score the herb.
Easily gets over there.
I don't think he can contest both because his base is not big enough.
Not quite.
But yeah, we'll score the 4 points.
Alright.
Rocket is then going to take a move just so he can get range 5 of Corvus. He's got more than enough movement to get to there.
Absolutely.
And then he will element gun or plasma rifle into Corvus. Alright, Rocket's going to plasma gun. There we go.
Oof!
So 6 coming in at Corvus.
Alright. Well, this is going to hurt. Did get a crit. So, I do have cover. So I'm going to be able to block 4 of it total with his invulnerability. That is still taking 2, which is unfortunately still enough to daze him. And he still gets 0 power from any of this because of the judgment condition.
And then he will drop the herb.
He certainly will.
Just push it back there.
Absolutely. Making me chase after it a little bit.
And Rocket will be done.
Okay.
And then Drax gets to go.
He does.
So he's going to Blades attack into Rocket.
I'd like to say I'm surprised, but let's be honest.
So that's going to be 5 dice physical. So I do get 2 rerolls, but I can't reroll a skull because you're bleeding. So that'll be 4 coming in at Rocket.
Rocket blocks 1, which is going to be enough to daze the raccoon as well.
Alright, and I think Drax is just going to stay there because he doesn't really need to go anywhere.
That seems reasonable.
Score a point there.
So as it stands on the board, things have reversed. I am only getting 1 point because Proxima is still alive and still on the objective, the only character that I did not have dazed this turn. Corvus dropped his herb down there. Rocket is dazed, so he's not able to contest, and Drax scores 1 there. And Hawkeye is able to hold that herb for 4 points. So this time Matt is going to be getting 5, going up to 7, and I'm getting a lonely 1 point as we move into round number 4. Alright, at the top of round 4, I'm going to once again activate Corvus first. Going to spend 4 for a death blow from Corvus, and then Thanos is going to spend 2 for Death's Decree, giving it an extra 4 dice, so it's going to be 11 dice, all of it going into Star-Lord. All right, here is 11 dice. There we go. So 3 additional, no skulls for the...
Were there only 2 original ones?
I think this one was 1 as well. I was about to say, we'll double check some film. So after watching some film, it was indeed a crit, and that is 10 incoming damage onto Star-Lord. He's going to have to get real plucky about it.
What's plucky just to do it?
It didn't help too much.
Yep, so he's going to take 3 and get dazed.
Okay. From there, Corvus has both a flurry trigger and the death blow trigger of a movement. So he is going to accept the movement bonus. And we're just going to go ahead and plop ourselves down right there. And then the flurry is going to go into Nebula, making a 5 dice strike. Nothing quite as fancy as what was just done. Still, with the skull getting to count. Extra not, but it is 3 or 4 with a pierce.
She does get to reroll 1.
Indeed.
Nothing. So she'll get dazed.
All right. Corvus is living up to his namesake. He's going to get 4 power for dealing the 4 damage from the strike, spending 1 of it to then pick up the Wakandan herb that was once lost. And I believe that is going to be the end of his activation.
All right, Drax is going to go. He's going to double move to get in range of Corvus. Basically, it's going to go base to base with him.
Might as well.
And then he's going to pay 3 power to throw him using the Destroyer and throw him right into that crystal.
Absolutely. This will blow up the crystal, and Corvus will take a singular point of damage. Giselle, you're on camera. What? Alrighty, so I very purposefully did not go ahead and activate Proxima. That way she can also get the Death Decree bonus on her attack. So she's going to spend 4 because Rocket is just barely within range 4 out here after getting shuffled up a little bit. And so we're going to pump in a Quantum Starburst. So it'll be 8 dice after the Death's Decree going into Rocket. Not spectacular, unfortunately. Did get a crit. Crit results in another one, so it is 4 successes in total.
Rocket got a crit. And he'll change one of those for cover. So he takes 2.
Takes 2, which is just enough, thankfully. That crit had me worried. All right, unfortunately, she had to shake the stagger before anything else happened. And that means that she is done up there, hanging out on the... You know what? She'll might as well. She'll spend 1 power and heal herself 1. But otherwise, she is done.
All right, so Hawkeye's going to go. He's going to move to here. He's going to pay 1 for Trick Shot.
Might as well.
And then he will an arrow shot at your Rocket, ignoring line of sight and cover.
Yep. 6 dice, assuming you choose to do physical.
So 6 dice going in your Rocket. Just 1.
Rocket lives! He even blocks it. This Raccoon has willpower.
And then Hawkeye's going to spend his last 2 power to hook shot back to the objective.
All right, keeping you scoring 4, and unfortunately, me not quite so much. All right, looks like I am not going to have priority for the first time this game, which is unfortunate. But Thanos is going to just hop up here. And we are going to then throw a 6 dice strike into Drax the Destroyer. With 1 whole wild as a success.
Drax will block it.
It is blocked. I will throw you short because I don't see too much reason to not. And this is definitely at the away angle. So I will still chip in a point of damage onto Drax. Would you like to place his vengeance token onto Thanos?
Oh, yes, I will. Vengeance on the Thanos.
Very nice. And now we'll go with the Raccoon, who has nothing else to do except to hopefully do better and nuke Drax. We're going to start with just a normal plasma rifle, so 5 dice energy going into Drax. A couple crits might help. 3 total.
So Drax will take 2 from that.
Absolutely. Rocket will get a couple more power. And how much does Drax have after that?
So he'll be at 4. So he has 2 more left on this side. So
all right. After some debating, Rocket is then going to spend 4. He still has a couple power left. And he's going to go ahead and Hadron Enforcer into Drax. So it's going to be 7 dice energy. For just 3 results. I did get the wild, though.
2 from Drax, so he'll take 1.
He'll take 1. And then the Hadron Enforcer, other enemy characters within range 2 of the target character suffer 1 damage. Unfortunately, that does not mean Drax will be suffering that 1 damage, and Drax gets to live.
And Vengeance token's going to stay on Thanos.
Yep. And I believe that is then the round over, so we will come back with scoring. Because Drax went and walked off, Rocket's going to score 1 point there. Proxima, as always, is going to stand there and score an extra point. And then over here, Hawkeye is going to score 4 for Matt. So at the end of the round, I will be going up to 14 to 11.
All right, since I have priority, I'm going to go with Drax first. I'm going to pitch field dressing for the affiliation bonus to give Drax winging it. He is then going to move to about halfway of his movement. Do it right there. And then make sure he's at range 2.
He's got it.
And then he is going to Titan Killer onto Thanos.
I'm guessing burning the Vengeance token.
And burning the Vengeance token on there.
And unfortunately, I really need Rocket to do that last point of damage.
So Drax is at 5 damage, so this is going to be a total of, 3 base, plus 3 for the Vengeance, and then plus 5, which will be 11
dice.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
And for those inevitable crits. Oh boy.
2 crits. Really need
no
that
wild.
All right, I'm going to pitch a winging it token.
Might as well.
To reroll these 2 blinks. And pitch for that wild. No wild.
Another hit.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 coming into Thanos.
All right, so not going to kill him, thankfully. And even if it was 9, I still get that 1 guaranteed block. But a couple of crits into nothing else. So he's blocking 3 of 8. So he is still taking 5. Hopefully that is Drax done.
Yeah, Drax only has 1 power left, so Drax will be done.
All right, and I think as a trend here, Corvus is once again going to be my first activation. We are going to start by spending 4 of his 8 power to do a death blow onto Nebula. She will have cover, as well as that defensive reroll, but hopefully 8 dice, because of the Wakandan herb, will be enough to put her down, or at least get that wild for a flurry. Oh yes. Skull gets to count as a critical, for a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 successes.
So I'll re-roll this one.
Yep.
2, change 1 to cover, but it's going to be 5, which is exactly enough.
Okay, so that will remove Nebula from the board. Corvus then gets to do his advance, so he will just move up next to where he wants to score. We then have the flurry attack, which will be 6 dice. I'll put that into Drax. So, because Star-Lord is definitely not in range. Not quite as successful there, just the 2... Oh, wait, Skull. Haha. Doesn't help too much. So 3 successes.
Drax will spend a winged token because why not?
Might as well.
Yep, nothing. So Drax will get not KO'd. He'll get dazed.
He'll be dazed. Corvus gets 1 whole power back from the strike dealing that singular point of damage. And then he will spend another 4 for an additional death blow. He will then also have Thanos death decree this one. So this one will be a total of 12 dice going into Star-Lord, who should be well within range 3 here. 12 dice death blow onto Star-Lord. Not as successful as I'd like it to be.
You got 3 crits there.
3 crits. I'm going to re-roll one of these skulls since it won't be modified otherwise. So I got an extra 2 hits off of that. So grand total, we are looking at a lot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 4. Yep. 8 total successes going into Star-Lord.
Yep, that's gonna...
You got a plucky.
Box 2, so he'll take 6, which is more than his 5.
All right. And once again, we did get the flurry. We might as well put... Well, no, Drax is dazed. Corvus will stand there and be done with his activation.
All right, Rocket's just going to move back. Actually, he's going to shoot first at Proxima, and then he'll move back.
Might as well.
Get one last shot off. For 2.
Blocks nothing. She will use cover and or her invulnerability and just take 1 damage.
Rocket gets 1 power, and then he's just going to move back to the objective to score some points, so the score is not as bad.
All right. So from there, I will go with Rocket. Rocket will stand there and do nothing. Would you like to do anything with Hawkeye?
No, Hawkeye's just going to stay there and score some
Score 4 points. Seems reasonable. Well, Thanos and Proxima will also just stand there and accepted Star-Lord's dance-off challenge, and turns out they can dance. So at the end of the round here, you will have a total of 5 points, getting up to that 16 at the end of round 5. Unfortunately, I'm scoring an additional 6, which will put me at 20. Good game, man. Thank you for coming out. That was a lot closer than I expected it to be after that turn 1 move.
Yeah, it was a really good game. Close. Guardians did fail at the end, though. But my major thing is I like them because of their flexibility. Even though that really down in the hole turn 1, I was still able to come back and get some points back on the board the following turns and stop him from scoring an herb at least 1 round. A couple dice rolls here and there, but that's dice game. It made it real fun. So nobody was really MVP. They all worked as a team, taking the shots where they need to. But it was a fun game. I can't wait to get another one in.
What a game that ended up being. I've said it once and I'll say it again. I didn't think Matt was going to be able to rebound as well as he did from my turn 1 herb play. Hawkeye could have easily gotten to start scoring his herb a round earlier if his arrow attack did even a single point of damage in round 2, which would have meant overtime in the point score going into round 6. For me, Corvus had a rough start to the game with his dice, but was able to rally for a couple of devastating turns later in the game. So either he or Thanos was probably my MVP. While Thanos didn't do too much damage output-wise himself, but his support and control elements let him do enough to influence the right side of the board for the win. I want to again thank Matt for coming out and getting this game in with me, especially because he brought his Thanos for me to play with because I hadn't gotten my own copy of him yet. Rest assured I do now, and he's a lot of fun to paint. Thank you all for watching. It seems we have some very exciting times ahead with the anniversary of the game, some extra exciting announcements coming up at the end of the month, so stay tuned for all the fun things ahead, and as always, thanks for watching, and keep on gaming.